I now look at life as every time I have a decision to make, I fast forward to being on my deathbed. So whether that's 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever age you want to visualize for yourself. And I ask myself, as my future self fast forwarded, will I regret if I do this, or will I regret if I don't do this?
Big show today, guys.
Happy to be with you.
Gabrielle Bernstein, a role model for a new generation of spiritual seekers.
There's two questions I want to ask. You can answer either one. Okay. So if this is the first question. If this was the absolute last interview you were ever going to give ever again, last time you're ever heard on the air anywhere in any form, what would you say? That's question number one. Like, what do you need us to know? And then question number two was, and neither of you are going to want to answer this one, but what's your biggest regret? I know you're going to want to go for the upbeat one, but we'll see.
We can go to both. We can do both.
Let's do both. Let's get both. Oh my God, let's get both. Okay.
Okay, if I had to honestly say at this point in my life, if this was the last interview and I had something to say, I would say, I'd have two answers. First thing I'd say is go and listen to Steve Jobs' Stanford commencement speech if you haven't. Because I listened to that speech for 9 months in a row every single day at one point in my life. And I knew every word off by heart. The words penetrated my heart. Even now when I listen to it, I get goosebumps. It's just, he summarized it. Like that to me is the best speech of all time. And so I would have to tell people to go and listen to that because it had such a big impact on my life. But I would, if I could only say one thing, I would say that there's a beautiful statement in the Vedic texts, and it says that when you protect your purpose protects you. And so our life is not so much about living or creating or finding our purpose. It's actually about protecting it. It already exists. It's within you. You have it. And we have to protect it like a precious jewel. And when you protect it and then you live it and you unleash it, it will protect you through every other change and transition that comes in your life. So don't give up your purpose for a good idea, a person, a place, a project, a random thought. Keep allowing it to be uncovered. And I promise you it will protect you at the darkest of times.
Wow. Thank you.
And I was going to add, and I was going to say mine, which I think adds to that, is what I say at the end of my podcast is if no one's told you lately, I want to remind you that you are loved, you are worthy, and you matter. And I think when people remember that they are loved, when they remember they are worthy, when they remember they matter, they can pursue their purpose with 100% effort and confidence and alignment and not fall back into some negative pattern of or move for a person and leave their purpose or whatever it is. They can find a both and in their life. So remember that statement.
When you say that at the end of your show, I really know you mean it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I say it to myself. You know?
I feel it when you I'm always like smiling. Well, I listen to both of you in the car and I'm just smiling. I'm like, thanks, Louis. It feels really good to hear you say that.
A lot of people don't hear that.
No.
A lot of people don't hear that from anyone else. And they definitely don't say that to themselves with all the negative self-talk and the beat up and the blaming, the self-blaming. So I just feel like when we can get to a place of peace, like Jay has done so well, and Jay teaches all of us so well, then we can pursue our purpose from a place of peace, which has more energy and is more sustainable and renewable energy than a place of fear, anxiety, stress. And that's where I want to live from.
Yeah.
Dudes. So should we end on regret? I mean, we can make it upbeat. We can spin it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to talk about it. I struggle generally to think about things. My biggest regret would have been that I didn't try to pursue my purpose. And so for a long time, my biggest regret was that I was in the corporate world. I was working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., doing something that I didn't love, not serving the world, not using my gifts. And so that was a big thing that I regretted, or I thought would become a big regret for a long time. To turn it into a positive, as you said, I think for me, I now look at life as every time I have a decision to make, I fast forward to being on my deathbed. So whether that's 70, 80, 90, 100, whatever age you want to visualize for yourself. And I ask myself, as my future self fast forwarded, will I regret if I do this, or will I regret if I don't do this? And so I let my future self make that decision for me, because I think at the time of death, perspective is just different and it's elevated. And so my positive answer to that is, now if I think like, oh, am I going to regret this? Is this going to be a big thing? I'll just close my eyes. I'll fast forward and I'll ask myself, would I regret this if I didn't do this at the end of my life, or if I did do this? And the answer always comes to me. I just listen and I sit there, and maybe it will take a day, maybe it will take a week, or maybe a month. But just sitting with that really helps me in not creating a life of regret. So I don't think I really have any major regrets. Of course, there's mistakes and flaws and all of that, but I think regret's a strong word, and I think it should be used appropriately, and it shouldn't be thrown around for, of course, do I wish I was more loving to everyone I've ever met? Of course, I do wish that. Do I wish I was a better son and a better brother? Of course I do. But those are not regrets. I don't think I want to. I also don't want to use the language loosely.
Yeah, and you don't have to regret things that you can make right today. I mean, that's one of the best things about being in 12-step recovery is that you make amends. And you can forgive yourself because you can make an amends. And if someone's no longer living, you can make a living amends to them, where if you stole something from somebody and they're no longer alive, you can just go give to a charity that they loved, or whatever it is. So it's that way of living for me, of always taking care of my side of the street, allows me to live without regret.
Yeah, I love that.
Lewis.
For me, it would be beating myself up so much and holding on to suffering for so long as a kid and in my 20s, and the negative self-talk that you're never going to be good enough, or you suck, or you messed up, that was an idiot thing to do, you're too dumb, or just like the horrible things that I would say to myself growing up. But I also, to spin it, I also and wishing that I would have learned how to heal sooner, to not hold on to those things. But it's also, on the other side of the coin, the thing that made me so hungry and driven to learn, and curious-minded to interview people and seek answers, and seek tools, and seek training to then serve other people and be of help to other people. So I don't know if I necessarily regret it, because I think it's made me who I am.
100%.
But maybe I wish I would have learned it sooner.
If you like this video and you want to get more Gabby, check out the next one right over here.